Hi there, everyone. For this session, we will be having relations and functions. Now, let us first define what a relation is. A relation is a set of ordered pairs. Now, as you can see, this is an example of an ordered pair. Take note, an ordered pair has two parts. The first number is the x coordinate or the x value, or sometimes we call it the abscissa. The second number is called the y value, the y coordinate, or the ordinate. So take note of the two parts of an ordered pair. Let me show you an example of a relation. So let's examine this one. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ordered pairs here. And we are writing this as a set. So this is an example of a relation. Now, a relation has two parts. The first part is what you call the domain. The domain is a set of all values in the relation. As you can see, the x values in our relation are simply 2, -1, 4, 9, and 0. And when I write this in as a set, I will be arranging this. But it's okay not to arrange that as long as all the numbers are there. That's totally fine. So I have now -1, 0, 2, 4, and 9. Again, the domain, these are the x values written in a set. Now, let's go to the second part. The second part is what you call the range. The range is a set of all values, y values, in the relation. Those are the range in your relation. 3, 5, -2, 9, and -6. And I'll be arranging this as -6, -2, 3, 5, and 9. Again, the range, these are the y values written in a set. Now, let's have the kinds of sets. Let's first focus on the mapping first. So I will be mapping 1 and 5. So this is my first pair, 1 and C, I mean, not 5, 1 and C. Then I'm going to map 2 and A. 2 paired with A. Next mapping will be 3 and B. 3 and B ipares. Then I'm going to be having 4 and D. And lastly, I have 5 and E. The same thing as the second example. I have student A whose grade is 83, student B his grade is 90, student C his grade is 88, and student D his grade is 81. And this is what you call a one-to-one relation, because exactly one value in the domain is paired to exactly one value in the range. And as you can see in our set, there is no repetition in the domain and no repetition over the range. So this is the first kind of relation, the one-to-one relation. Second kind of relation is what you call, okay, before having the name, let's have an example first. Let's do the mapping again. So I have here 1 and B. I have 2 and A. I have 3 paired with B. I have 4 paired with C. And I also have 5 paired with B. The same thing as my second example. So I have here student A whose grade is 86, student B whose grade is 90, student C again whose grade is 86 again, D and E having the same grade, which is 83. And this one, you have noticed that I have 1, 2, 3 values in the domain paired to only one value in the range. The same with the second example. I have 2 students who has the same grade. I have here 2 students having the same grade, 83. And this is what you call a many-to-one relation. Again, 1, 2, 3, many paired to one value in the range. And as you can see over the set over here, you have noticed that there is repetition in the range. The letter B is an element of the range and it is repeating. Therefore, if ang 1 to 1, no repetition sa domain, no repetition sa range, ang many to 1, the repetition will be seen in the range. No repetition in the domain. Now let's go to the third kind of relation. Let's have the mapping first. So I have here 1 and D. I have 1 and A. I have 3 and B. I have 4 and C. And I'm gonna be pairing, I'll be pairing 4 and E. And as well as 89 ang grado nimo sa math and science, 90 ang grado nimo sa Filipino and sa English. And as you have noticed, I have one value in the domain paired with two values in the range. I have one value in the domain paired with two values in the range. And this is what you call a one-to-many relation. And a one-to-many relation, the repetition exists in the domain. Again, the repetition is found in the domain. As you can see, repeating C1, repeating sad C4. And those numbers are found in your domain. Now, let's have a short activity now. Let us determine the domain, the range, and the kind of relation of the following examples or numbers or items. Now, let's go to item number 1. What is the domain? Again, you can write this in increasing order or you can write it as in order, any order that you want. So I have here the number 1, the number 3. These are the first numbers. The number 6, or rather the number 4, and the number 7. So I am simply writing all the X values, 1, 3, 4, and 7. The range, the Y values, I have here 3, 6, 1. We have 6, but 6 is already written. Again, in writing sets, you don't repeat an element. And as you have noticed that the repetition occurred in the range. Therefore, this is a many to one relation. Let's go to our second item. Let's determine the domain. Again, the X values, -1, -4. We have 2, -4. Do not repeat that anymore. The range, we have 4, -3, -1, and 1. I am simply writing all the Y values in the range. And you have noticed that the repetition now is found in the, where? In the domain. -4 is repeating, and it's in the domain. This is what you call a one-to-many relation. Let's have the last item. The domain, that's simply 1, 3, 4, and 7. The range, that will be 3, 4, 5, and 7. And as you can see, there's no repetition in the domain as well as no repetition in the range. This is an example of a one-to-one relation. Now, let's focus over a very special kind of relation. You call it a function. A function is a relation in which each element of the domain is paired with exactly one element of the range. Again, I'm going to make an emphasis on this. One element of the domain is paired with exactly one element of the range. Let's have this mapping over here. As you can see, this is an example of a one-to-one relation. Let's examine this one-to-one relation. Let me ask you this. Is this a function or not a function? Let's focus over number one. The number one is paired with exactly one value over the range. The number two, exactly one value. Number three, exactly one value. Number four, exactly one value. Number five, exactly one value over the range. So as you can see, all the numbers in the domain are paired with exactly one value in the range. And this is a function. Let's go to this one. As you can see, this is a many-to-one function. Let's examine. The number one is paired to exactly one value, the number 6. The number 2 is paired to exactly one value. The number 3, the same thing. The number 4, exactly one value. And the number 5, exactly one value. That's why this is a function. Because a function, again, exactly one value ang gipares sa domain to the range. Again, ang one-to-one is a function. Many-to-one is also a function. Let's go to the one-to-many function. Rather, relation, not function. The one-to-many relation. As you can see, ang number 1 is paired with 2 values in the range. Ang number 4 is paired with 2 values in the range. That's why this is not a function. Because a function, dapat isara jud iyang partner sa range. Sir, nga nung matungpi ka, sir, nga nung na-function man na, sir. Bahalag ang 1, 3, og 5, gipartneran og usa diri, basta ang 1, usara jud partner niya diri. Ang 3, usara say partner. Ang ato ang kini nga example, look at this one. Not a function kay ang ato ang domain duha naman kabuk partner di man na pwede sa function. Okay? Now let us write the set over here. I have here 1, 2. I have 1 and 8. I have 3 and 4. I am writing the ordered pair simply 4 and 6, 4 and 1. Now let's examine where is the repetition found. The repetition is found where? It's in the domain. So meaning di ay, sir, kung naay repetition sa X, which is the domain, then it is not a function. Dapat walay magbalik-balik sa X for it to be a function. Let's have this short activity now. So let's determine whether it's a function or not a function. So I have here a set of ordered pairs. Focus on the domain. 1, 2, 3, 4. Are there repeating numbers in the domain? Wala. Walay repetition sa domain, therefore, this is a function. Let's go to number 2. Sir, I have noticed that the number 64 is repeating. The number 16 is also repeating, and those numbers are found in the domain. So therefore, this is not a function. Let's go to number 3. The number 3 is repeating, and it's found in the domain. Therefore, it's not a function. Number 4. As you can see, 5, -7, 7, -5. No repetition in the domain. Therefore, it is a function. Sir, naalagi nagbalik-balik sa range. O okay naman na sa range. Basta ang domain atong focus when we identify whether it's a function or not. Let's go to number 5. So I have here 2, 3, 4, and -2. This is still a function nga naman. Walay repetition in your domain. Let's have table of values. As you can see, this table over here. As you can see, the X value, sir, 9 repetitions sa X, sir. 9 repetitions sa X. Sorry. 9 repetitions sa X are 25. Therefore, this is not a function. Look at the values over here? Naag-repeat ba na ang values sa x nato? Wala. Therefore, this one is a function. Number 3, as you can see, no repetition in your x values. Therefore, this is a function. Number 4, there is repetition, the number 7, and it's found in your domain. Therefore, this is not a function. Number 5, the number 1 is repeating. It's found in your domain, x value. Therefore, it's not a function. So that is how you determine whether it's a function or not. What if you're given a graph now? There is what you call a vertical line test. So when I say vertical line test, I'll be drawing vertical lines over the graph. So take note, this one is my graph. If I'll be drawing a vertical line over here, kapila siya ni intersect sa graph? Once. I'm gonna draw another vertical line. It intersected once. I'm gonna draw another vertical, intersect na siya, kausara. Another vertical line, once ang intersection. Another vertical line, once. If it intersects the graph only once, then it is a function. If we will be drawing a vertical line, and it intersects twice or more than 2, or 2 or more, then 1, 2, it is not a function. Number 3, kini siya draw kog vertical line, kausa, once. This is a function. Number 4, draw vertical lines. As you can see, kausara jud na intersect. That's a function. Number 5, as you can see, if I'm gonna draw a vertical line here, 1, 2, 3, it will intersect thrice in this part. In this part, twice. So this is not a function. So this is what you call a vertical line test. Now, let's go to a function notation. We commonly call functions by letters because function starts with the letter F. It is a commonly used letter to refer to functions. I can even use the letter G or letter H or any letter will do. Now, the left-hand side, this side over here, of this equation is the function notation. It tells us two things. We called the function f, and the variable in the function is x. So meaning, kining f diri, this means that the right-hand side is a function of f. If I'm gonna be having this one, g, this is a function of g. If I'm gonna be having the letter b here, it's a function of b. And the letter x there is simply the variable nga nag-contain sa ato ang right side. So meaning, sir, kung variable y ni siya, sir, this will be y pod ni siya. If this variable c, sir, then that's letter c sad siya. So meaning this one will tell me what variables constitutes the right side part. Now, the left side does not mean f times x. Dili siya f times x. It means that what is on the right side. It tells us that this letter x is found on the right side. Now, let's go to this example. Remember, this tells you what is on the right side. It is not something that you work on. Ang atong i-work on is on the right side. Ang left side will not tell you mo na atong itrabaho. So, ang isolve nato ang naa sa right side. So, meaning, if we have this one, this function notation, then I can simply find the value of a function where x is equal to 2. So, meaning di ay, ang buhaton na ko ani, this means to find the function f, you substitute x by 2. So, therefore, the excess here becomes the number 2 because it is given here. What if, sir, it's the number 3? Then this will become the number 3. Then, don't forget the order of operations. Powers, multiplication, then addition and subtraction. So start with the powers, the exponent first. So I have an exponent there. So 2 squared, that's why this is 4. Then you just copy 2, 3, 2, and 6. Then you multiply this, that's 8. Multiply that, that's 6. Mo nang 8 minus 6 plus 6. What is 8 minus 6 plus 6? That will give us an 8. So meaning, the value of the function notation where x is equal to 2 is simply 8. Let's have another example. So I have here a function notation, and I want to find the value of the function where x is equal to negative 2. So take note, I will be substituting x by negative 2. So this becomes negative 2, negative 2, negative 2. And again, you apply the PEMDAS rule. Start with the exponent. So I have here, negative 2 squared is simply 4. Mona dere. Then I will multiply this, that's 8. Then I have negative 3 times negative 2, that's positive 6. Then plus 6. I have 8 plus 6 plus 6, that will give us 20. So the value of the notation is simply 20 when x is equal to negative 2. Okay? Now let's go to function operations. Now I will be focusing on these operations: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Now let's go to our examples right away to further understand what this is all about. Now, let's have example number 1. Let's begin first with addition of functions. It's so simple. F of x, 2 functions being added. I'm going to simply add 3x plus 2 plus, it's the operation, the function g. The function g is equal to 2x plus 5. So combining like terms, we have these two, puros man na positive, i-add, therefore it's positive 5x. The same thing as positive 2 and positive 5. Both are positive, you combine, that's positive 7. This is now the sum of these two functions. Now, what if I'm going to be adding a value for x? What if the value of x is now the number 5? So going back to our value over here, mo niya kung gamiton karon of dire. So 5x plus 7. Substitute na ko ang 5 over x. So 5 times 5 plus 7. This will give me 25 plus 7. This is 32. 32 ang value sa sum of f and g where x is equal to 5. Let's have another example. This time, let's go to subtraction of functions. So over here, the subtraction part is very, very crucial. Why? Here's the thing. So I'll be writing f of x. This is f of x. 3x plus 2 minus. I will be enclosing 2x plus 5 in a parenthesis. So meaning di ay sir, kanang value sa second function isud na natog parenthesis. That's very, very important. Kaya nga naman, we will be distributing the negative sign over here. So this becomes 3x plus 2 minus 2x minus 5. And as you can see, 3x and negative 2x will give us x. Positive 2x, positive 2 and negative 5, since they have unlike signs, you do subtraction. That's 3. Then, you copy the sign of the number having the bigger absolute value. The bigger number is 5. The sign is negative, negative 3. So, mo ni value sa difference nato sa duha ka functions. Now, I'm gonna be adding another problem. What if the value of x is negative 2? So, using this one, x minus 2, or x minus 3 rather, substitute na ko si negative 2 dire. So meaning this becomes negative 2 minus 3. So take note, they have the same signs. You add them. This is negative 5. This will be the value of our function. Okay? Let's go to the next operation. The next operation is simply multiplication. So I have here two functions and I'm going to multiply them. It's so simple. So I now have 3x plus 2 and I have 2x plus 5. So remember the FOIL method? First terms. So 3x times 2x, that's 6x squared. This is the first term. The outer terms. 3x times 5, that's positive 15x. That's the outer terms. The inner terms, 2 times 2, that's 4x. That's your inner terms. Then we have the last terms. We have 2 times 5. That will give us a 10. Now, as you can see, there are like terms. So I'm gonna combine them. So positive 15x o positive 4x mahimo ng positive 19x. Bring down 6x squared. Bring down 10. O mo na value na ako sa product sa duha ka functions. And I'm gonna add another problem. So I'm gonna be having a value of x at 3. 3 sa x, I mean. So this is now 6x squared plus 19x plus 10. So I have 6 times 3 squared plus 19 times 3 plus 10. So I have an exponent. Start with the exponent. 6 times 9 plus 19 times 3 plus 10. I now have 54 plus 57 plus 10. Adding these numbers, I'm going to be getting 121 for that. So this will be the value if x is equal to 3. Let's have our last example for division. So I now have f of x over g of x. So it's so simple. I'll be having 3x plus 2 divided by 2x plus 5. Since these two are not factorable and we cannot cancel common factors, this will be our answer for the division part. Now, let's introduce a value of x, which is negative 2. So I have now, substitute na ako, class, 3 times negative 2 plus 2 all over 2 times negative 2 plus 5, which will give me negative 6 plus 2 over negative 4 plus 5. So this becomes negative 4 over 1, which is equal to negative 4. So that will be the value for our division of the functions. Are there any questions? So that ends our tutorial video. Thank you and till next time. Goodbye, everyone.